Everyone gone nuts? Who the hell do you think you are?
Merry Christmas, you son of a bitch.
Where's the Tylenol?
Didn't think so.
And we think so because we're going to more of a streaming movie this time around. That's right, we're doing Netflix's 2019 Klaus. I would have put together a little trailer, but Netflix is notorious for nailing people with their copyright. So we're going to be a little minimal with some of that today. But Kevin, was this your first time checking this one out?
This is. In fact, this might actually be my first Netflix original. I'm not sure.
Really?
Yeah. I'd seen this. This was on my radar because, you know, whenever they have what's new, they show their movies first as opposed to movies that you pay to actually see on there.
Okay.
So I'd seen this preview before, but had no idea what it was about other than the real Santa Claus. So everything was a big surprise.
Well, that's pretty good to hear. I saw this back when it first came out in 2019 with Amy. We love our Christmas movies. She doesn't tune in for much of the horror movies, but we always fire like this one up. And when we first saw it years ago, we enjoyed the hell out of it. It actually is a very touching and sweet movie. And for the most part, it will hit somebody in the feels somewhere in this movie, and it will get you. Regardless of what scene it is, there's something in this for just about everybody. This is a kid's film, does have some exaggerated animation and whatnot, but it's quirky, it's fun, and it's an origin story for Santa Claus.
Yeah, and really, if the animation style bothers you in this, I'm not sure what you're looking for in a Christmas cartoon. Like this,
Yeah.
this fits in very well with previous Christmas cartoons that have been very famous throughout the last, 60 to 70 years.
Right. Well, also it gives itself its own identity with the Klaus design a little bit. I
Yeah.
mean, with some other Santa Clauses, you get the big belly, you get the big chest, you get this, that, and the other. But like, just take one look at our background, or even Kevin's image here of his background. Like, if you're not going to be interested in that style, I mean, it's still a good story. It's still pretty decently acted, but if you're not digging the animation style, then it's maybe not going to work for you. But I would argue the animation is stunning and gorgeous in this. And they clearly took a long time to put this together.
Agreed. And if I could just point out for 1 second, that's Krampus right there. Hi, little buddy.
Don't talk about Joan Cusack like that.
Oh, we're not getting there yet. We're not getting there yet.
Nope.
Yeah, no, the animation style is pretty goddamn great for this. Like, it reminded me a bit of Anastasia when that came out in the late 90s, where they just had really good shading on all that snow. This was a lot like that in a very similar way. It was very well animated. It's very beautiful to watch. The characters are cartoon characters, to your point, to the point where I'm afraid that the main character is going to end up being like David Spade in this movie, because he reminds me of David Spade. And I'm like, oh, Jesus, is this going to be annoying?
Did it end up being annoying? Yeah.
No, not at all. Not at all. He was a lot more tolerable than Emperor Couscous was. Yeah.
I would say so, because he never got his groove back.
He never had groove to begin with, so it's okay. He had to learn to get the groove.
That is so very true. That being said, welcome aboard, everybody, to 0 Point Reviews, where we talk about the good, the bad, and we judge these movies, and we also judge them ourselves. There is absolutely no point not to review these movies, and that's the whole point we're reviewing them. So, Kevin, let's get into the good, the bad, and the judgment of Klaus.
The good. Okay, so the good. The first thing I want to point out is this little kid here, the Sammy. Those are the people that dropped Santa Claus into the ice in the movie last week. I just wanted to point that out. That's those people right there.
Yep. We initially had planned a different movie, but this ended up working out pretty funny by comparison. It's almost.
When I saw that, because I can't even talk. The subtitles were on when I hit play, and it says Sammy Child. I'm like, oh, that's the people from Rare Exports that dropped Santa in the ice. Yay! Maybe they're gonna do that. Nope. They end up helping him. Good. Okay.
Nope, he didn't have horns, so it wouldn't have worked out anyway. Prisoning Santa in ice.
No. So we talked about the animation style. We talked about how some people might not like it, and I said it's very reminiscent of the animation style of Christmas cartoons from the last 60 years.
Yep.
And I specifically mean the Rankin Bass cartoons, or the stop motion movies.
Right.
The bad guys in this, Joan Cusack, she reminds me of the Burgermeister somehow. Like if they split the Burgermeister into two different characters, it would be the Crumbs and the Epsteins or whatever the fuck they were in this movie.
Ellen Bowes, Kevin.
Ellen Bowes.
Boring families. It's the Hetfield and McCoys that they are channeling in this movie, and we'll get into that, but I don't want to derail your.
Are you still there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I lost you for a second. No, you're right. And they are the Hatfields and McCoys, and they were pretty goddamn wonderful. But I'm sitting there looking at them and how sickly they look and over exaggerated villainy that they had in them. It's like, oh, it's the Burgermeister's kids. It must be like someone like watched the Rankin Bass cartoons and like, that's what a bad guy looks like. Make them like this. And they did a really, really good job. And it was like that for all the characters, though. God, I can't think of his name. The Jason Schwartzman's character,
Jesper,
yes. Like, looks nothing like Jason Schwartzman. Like I said, he looks like he's going to end up being like Emperor Couscous.
No joke.
Yeah, and is just a really fun character. Like, they took this in different directions than what you're going to think, except for when you see Klaus. Like, he is built like a brick shit house. He is scary, and he is truly that. He's a lumberjack with zero fucks to give.
Exactly. And when you get into a story later on, you find out how much of a heart and what made him bring up the shields as it is and why he lives alone and his whole entire situation. And the movie is constructed in a way that you find out things when they want you to find out. It's not, oh, hey, this fits so much better later. We don't want to load on backstory here. No, the movie flows in a very particular way, and it works exceedingly well, especially with Klaus. He's got a great design, great presence. I love the intimidating first impression of him. It's like, oh, dear God, he's freaking Uber Jason from Jason X. Because he's got this axe and it says Klaus on the handle. It's like, is this a Santa Claus movie or is this about to go very dark? Never goes very dark, but the most dark the movie ends up getting is just watching the Ellingbows and the Crumbs and how they fight each other and just the crazy antics. And of course it's over exaggerated animation and fighting styles. So people falling from like 150 feet in the air, just they land in the snow. They're perfectly fine. It's okay.
They get up, dust off the snow and start punching the next person.
Until the battle bell stops, Kevin.
Yes, which I was going to say, I loved the battle bell. Norm Macdonald suckering him into ringing the battle bell was pretty goddamn classic. Like, you knew Norm was snickering on the inside when that was happening. Like,
Norm, like that is probably going to be the most understated role of this whole entire movie is Norm Macdonald, not necessarily playing himself, maybe at times, but otherwise he's actually got a pretty good role to play in this movie. Like, he delivers a line much later on, and I don't care about jumping ahead for this. I actually made a clip for this to accentuate my point, which didn't even know I was going to make that point right now. But Where is it? Right here.
Oh, well, best leave it alone, I say. I'm sure it's nothing that could fester and eventually become a source of resentment and regret.
It's funny, but also very honest and real at the same time.
Wow. And that was also really cool with my Sennheisers on. Like that went full 3D. It started over here and ended up over there.
Well, I'm not going to get us in trouble, but I'm just going to say I have something that I was able to make a clip from that was not on the computer.
Ooh.
It's not officially out. We'll get to that when we get to the bad.
Well, I mean, John made the comment that he has this also that maybe somebody may not
He's
have
got something a little
replicated.
different, but we'll that is start and we will bring that up later. But in
We
order to
talked a
make
bit
good
about this
clip,
with the tick.
yeah,
Oh, well,
same
yeah.
thing with the tick. Yeah, you can still find the tick like the Amazon Prime show. Like you can find it out there. You just got to know where to look.
It is so hard to get screenshots of that they didn't put out for promos, though. It really is. They've got that locked up tighter than a bee hole.
Yep. Just as tight as any bee hole in this movie. If you feel like you got a tough exterior, you really don't.
No. This movie should come with disclaimer. Like,
You
don't
will
watch.
cry.
Yeah,
Or you will
like
get at least choked up and be like, I'm not crying, you're crying.
kinda. I'm glad my kids weren't here. I've got enough awkward shit to explain to my kids. Like,
But you don't want to explain the awkward origin of Santa Claus, how he was completely conned by some privileged postman who really didn't want the job, but his dad runs the postal service and sends his kid all the way to the frickin' Smearensburg, which is kind of like the North Pole, just to teach his kid a lesson. And you end up finding out by the end of the movie, like his dad's super proud of what he accomplished. So,
yes, and I mean that gets funny into itself because the bad guys are trying to get rid of him by getting the dad to be proud of him, but he didn't want
funny.
he didn't want the dad's pride at that point. Like he didn't even want the dad to be there. He was pretty darn happy just doing what they were doing, not even being the postman per se, but being Klaus's delivery man.
And having the wonderful community that they had, he was already having a relationship with Alva, with Klaus, the Sami people who were helping out Klaus at that time, and just being able to do everything. And then all of a sudden, thank you, Ellingbows and Kroms, you helped me achieve my goal, and so I have to leave. You would think, like, for villains, they actually did something very constructive and helpful just to get rid of somebody instead of trying to do something down and dirty nasty.
And I love that.
But they still made it feel dirty.
Yeah. And they made a point to point out that in order to destroy the peace, they have to make peace with one another.
Just for now.
And you're like, what the fuck? You're so stupid.
Well, when they thought they had defeated everybody and they accomplished their goals, they're like, so is the truce over? In the morning when we wake up, we can go back to killing each other.
Yeah.
It's like, you guys work very well together. And then, of course, one of the fun aspects of how peace does ultimately come to the entire town from just the whole like sheer plot, but the way the movie ended and their two kids, mine, and how the daughter walks off with the son of the other family, like it's like the Romeo and Juliet a little bit, where hey, no, I like her, I like him, he saved my life, mine. And then they end up getting married and jumping in a sleigh that won't pull them away.
Is that Olaf? Or
that was Olaf and Pumpkin, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. But I like
minimal
that,
work there, yeah.
Because that speaks to a great many things. And they pointed that out in the 1960s. I'm sure they pointed it out before that, but it was a big thing that they pointed it out in the 60s. Where they got black kids and white kids together that didn't know shit about racism. and they put them in a room together with toys, and there was no bickering, there was no squalling, there was no questioning of differences and shit like that. And this movie really kind of speaks to that. Sure, it's just, brunettes and gingers, but whatever. It's all the same.
Yep. Must protect the gingers, Kevin.
Must protect the gingers.
Well, with Alva as a character in and of herself, she's a bit like brunette / redhead, but when you first meet her, she's like this angry woman who she hates being in Smearensburg even more than Jesper does. And she's totally alienated from wanting to be a teacher. She's cutting up fish. She's basically running a seafood market out of the school and wants nothing to do with anybody. She's just trying to get the hell out of Dodge. And through the course of the movie, the whole premise here is like Jesper's got to get like 6,000 paid letters mailed through the system, and then he can leave, but he's got to accomplish it in 1 year, or he gets cut off from inheritance. He gets cut off from everything. And so ultimately he has to get somebody to write these letters. He starts with the kids because, hey, you write a letter to Santa or Mr. Klaus, you can get a gift. And for the most part, that works out until it doesn't work out. Because if you're bad, you get a lump of coal in your stocking. But part of that process is, oh, well, we don't know how to write a letter. Well, maybe you need to go to school and figure it out. Then all of a sudden the kids start showing up in the seafood market, which is the school, and they're just sitting there. And she's like, wait, when the hell did you all get here? What are you doing here? Get out.
They're in the
she's
way.
So angry about that situation. And she's like, what will it take for all of you to get out of here? Well, if I teach you just one thing, will that be enough to get you out of here so I can get back to trying to get the hell out of here? Ultimately, Annalise spells her name on a chalkboard. She's like, yay, you spelled your name on a chalkboard. But the emotion on the little kid and the glow and happiness of, that's my name. All of a sudden, Alva's like, click. The switch went off like, oh.
That's why I
damn, this is why I'm here. Damn. And so it starts the progress of her character development. And I just love that aspect where everything kind of crosses over. But Alva, that's when she really kind of scores points with me, because she's still a bit gruff for a while. And she never falls into that trap of being just some weak woman. She's not. Yeah. She's actually very strong, and she's a good character, and she's a redhead. Got to protect your redheads.
She is not a damsel. She's very, very skilled with the knife.
Yes.
She stores her money inside of carcasses.
Smart woman.
Yeah. Carcasses with teeth.
What, a smart, strong woman in an animated Christmas film? Yeah.
But they won't put it out on physical media, which would make it more well-known for everybody. Like, this is kind of a neat story. This is the type of story that you wouldn't mind being a Christmas tradition. Like, why not put it out there to more of a mass market? Because it's ours.
Yeah, it's the exclusivity of it all. And I get it. You want people to come to Netflix and be able to find the one thing that you can't find elsewhere. And
but they need to realize that's not gonna, that the next big thing changes every fucking week, and they update that every fucking week. That's their job. That's their model. They can't rely on this movie to bring in fucking subscribers years later. At some point, they owe it to history, to filmography, to put this shit out on physical media. Let collectors fucking own it. Sure, they're gonna get their residuals for it. They're gonna get their money for it. They could even put the discs out themselves. Who cares? But it's owed to the cast, the crew, the writer, the viewers, everybody.
Right. You shouldn't have to be signed into Netflix just to be able to watch something, especially like 5 years later.
Correct. Like, it's,
This absolutely should be in everybody's collection. That's what we're saying.
They're going to get a little bit of extra scratch if they make a disc of it.
Yeah.
Even if it's fucking made to order, shit.
Well, if it's enough scratch, we can maybe buy Margot another sled.
Margot, is that the Sami's name?
Yep. When they finally get her to the school, and then it starts with that particular song.
Can you write that?
My God. And for what there is for a soundtrack to this movie, there's only like a couple actual like singing songs. One's a little bit hip hop, and it's not long. It's Don't Mess with the Postman. And then you got this other song that plays at a very emotional segment of the movie. It's about like 50 minutes in when it happens, and it'll get you. I was going to ask you, Kevin, what's the scene that got you?
Oh God. There was a couple, I'm sure, where he's explaining that his wife dies.
Yeah.
I was just kind of like, felt Lord Vader grabbing my hair and expressing his disgratitude of my faith. That kind of got me there. Yeah. When he dies at the end there, that kind of got me. I was kind of done watching. I was like, all right, peace, I'm out. Because they made it sound like this whole big thing. And on the 12th year.
Yep.
What happened? Fuck! I don't need this.
Man, this would have been a good week to start our idea about lying to people about how the movie ends. We're thinking of a segment that'll do that and screw with everybody.
And Rankin Bass, like, he gets some pussy, they sing a song, they go away. In
Woo-hoo!
this, they die off. Like,
but
okay.
It's implied that Klaus is now officially the true Santa Claus, and once a year on Christmas, he comes by everybody's place and he actually gets to see Jesper again.
Yes, but like, one of the wonderful things about this movie is it builds rumor and superstition and mythology. Like, every night
it leans into it a lot. It has fun with it too, actually.
Yes. God, especially with like the reindeer and the cookies, because Jesper's hungry. Oh, and he likes to eat cookies at night too. Yeah, leave cookies out. Like,
as Jesper steals everybody's
cute as hell.
cookies. My favorite was the reindeer thing, and when the wheels came off the carriage, and then they all go flying, and then the one kid just sees them flying. And it's just so funny that they land, and then they have to redo the sled and everything. It works out very well. There's so many nods for everybody. I think everybody would get a kick out of like what they did with the mythology here.
Yes, because absolutely nothing you know is true. None of it. Other than the fact that there is a big man with a white beard that gives gifts. That's it.
Yep.
But everything you know about Santa Claus is mentioned in this movie. Like, they make it up in this movie, and they do it very smartly.
It all started with the postman.
Yeah. And they tell you that at the very, very beginning of the movie. And you're like, okay, well, how smart is this going to be? Is this going to be like a gimmicky movie? How many songs did they write? Who's getting paid for this? No, it's really more DreamWorksy than it is Disney. And I say that with respect.
Yeah, they don't play into musical numbers. There's like none of that going on. And I do like DreamWorks animation. Like, I could attribute also like Arthur Christmas as another example. And one of the co-creators of Despicable Me was involved with this. So you have a good foundation to do a damn decent story. And they ended up delivering like something that would be iconic for a lot of people if more people had a chance to see it. Now, granted, this did get like 40 million views when it first came out within its first 4 weeks of release back in 2019. I don't know what numbers are like now, but around this time of year, people want a good, honest Christmas movie that you can have with your kids, with your family, whatever. This is one of those that would be an easy layup to include into all of that, because it is a very family-friendly movie. There's no swearing, there's no blood, there's no death. There's some adult humor, that's not so adult that you'd be like, oh man, now I gotta explain this to my kid. No, it's like a good animated family movie where adults can pick up on things that the kids don't. And so it plays for everybody exceedingly well.
No, this is a movie for adults. Don't let kids see this. They're going to learn to cut themselves. Like it's not that there's not death in this. There's implied death, or people have died, and it breaks your fucking heart. I would rather see death. I would watch Evil Dead 1,000,000 times over than suffer the fucking fate of Mrs. Claus dying and him being alone ever again.
Shut up. Stop being weak.
Shut up.
Gotcha. You are welcome. No, you can watch this with your kids. A lot of it will go over their head for what Kevin's talking about. But if you're concerned about it, watch it yourself first and see if that is something you want to be able to work around with your children. But there's enough to go around in this movie, from certain themes of forgiveness to becoming better people to finding love and friendships with a lot of people, finding a community, and just overall, like, there's good messages in this movie, and every character has a story arc. If they have a couple words, they all have a story arc. Even the creepy kids putting a carrot nose on a snowman like it's Wednesday Addams out of Addams Family works very well, because they don't really have an arc, but eventually she cracks a smile and it makes you go, was that a Wednesday Addams reference? Because that's kind of creepy.
I like the two old ladies that are carrying the body.
Yeah, I know, because the guys stop with the sled going up to them, and then it's like the intersection is just watching them just drag the body across. It's like, well, that was nice. They didn't run us over while we're taking away the body.
Yeah, right.
That's what I really enjoy, the feuding family thing. At first, you are like, oh god, this is gonna be kind of dumb. This is gonna be a little lame. But the way they do the feud is ultimately nobody remembers exactly what started the feud. And when they go over the history of the feud for like 100 years, everybody's got the competing stories right along next to each other. So they intercut between the Croms and the Ellingbows, between certain pivotal events of their history as to why they hate each other, but they never really get down to what did start it all. And that's good. I like having that left open to interpretation, but it added a certain element of comedy. But ultimately, they end up start easing up. They all start being more friendly with each other. It starts with the kids and it works its way up to the adults, because the adults see what the kids are doing. Hey, they're playing, they're doing chores, they're trying to get on the nice list. They don't want to be on the naughty list. And I think that really works, and it shows how things can move through a family in reverse. You can learn from your kids. You can also learn from your parents too. So it seemed very symbiotic in this movie, and I really like that.
Yeah. I don't know if that's actually true in real life, but it really works out well in this. Yeah.
In the movie, it works, but in real life, I don't know about that.
Do as I fucking say.
Well, it plays into a little bit of the fantastical that is in this movie, because there are the elements that, for the most part, the movie seems pretty based in reality, except for the exaggerated like violence, like flying through the air and landing. But like, as far as like fantastical elements, it's like Klaus's wife, you have the impression she's talking to him through the wind and through the snow and certain elements. And at the very end, Klaus just vanishes and we never see him again. And so there is definitely an element of magic to it, but they keep it to a minimum. And I actually really appreciate that. That's also a reason why that's actually being included in our reviews, because this is a little bit more on the fantastical side. It's not just because it's an animated movie. They do incorporate some sci-fi fantasy elements here.
Yes, and I will save that for the bed.
Jackass.
Stop being weak.
Kevin, did you have a favorite character?
Oh, probably Jesper, I guess.
Okay, that's fair.
Like I just wound up liking him more than I thought I would. Like
Yeah.
he learns his lesson lickety ass split. Like there's no moment of him having temptation to leave. Like he just always does the right thing. He's just within his character capacity. And I liked that. He wasn't an annoying character at all. He was a good lead. When you're expecting to see a movie about Santa Claus and he's not the main character, you're giving this wimpy, nerdy, annoying character, main character. And Jesper was really kind of entertaining. He took that lead and he worked with it. You didn't care that Santa or Klaus wasn't the main character.
No, and it works just well that he's more of the secondary character. And I love the ending for Jesper's arc where he doesn't get on this ship. I already played the regret clip where he where Norm's just telling the dad, like, man, I've never seen a postman looking more miserable leaving than when he first got here. But Jesper doesn't end up staying on the boat. Like, he says goodbye to his dad. His dad's super proud of him for finding a place he can call home and be happy.
Yeah, that was cool.
And the realization, oh no, they're doing a mob. They're going to go do something bad. And in his infinite wisdom, he goes to try and save them. And they're all like, what are you doing here? We thought you were gone. And like about 7 minutes later, you realize, you know what? You actually nearly fucked up the whole plan that they had because they had the fake toys. They had the lumber all wrapped up in presents. They were expecting the mob and totally had a plan. And Jesper just had to come rolling in and complicate it. But the whole effort was to show like he truly cared. He truly loved everybody. And he was trying to do everything he could to protect everything he cared about. And so he won his way back into everybody's hearts with that. But it was super funny when it's like, oh, they were conning everybody and they almost got screwed by Jesper about that too.
I love how he's like, trying to save the toys as Klaus is driving the sleigh and grilling him about his integrity at the same time. And he's like,
you want to do this now?
I'm about to die.
Trying to save toys. And he's just like, dude, if you just stop for like 2 minutes, I could explain what's going on. But he's like, yeah, I'm just going to stay here.
Yeah, no one wants to hear it, but thanks, dicks.
Yep. It gives him his hat, and it's like, you earned your way back, buddy. Now get back to work. What did you think about the voice cast? Like, we have J.K. Simmons in here, and we also have Will Sasso. We got a few others.
Will Sasso was really good. I liked him. Joan Cusack stole the show for me.
You mean Ms. Debbie from Addams Family? I had a clip. Debbie. I couldn't find where I put it though.
Damn it. You had to say that. Now I want to go fucking watch that.
You are welcome.
It's bad enough I want to watch Inside Out every time I see her.
Oh, yeah.
She's got this great line in the movie that my fucking buddy loved, where Kevin Kline leaves her on the altar and she's at the bar just getting wasted and she starts telling her problems to Tom Selleck and he starts giving her advice and she throws herself at him and he's like, well, I'm gay. And the next thing you see is like the front, like panned back from the bar and the door just busts open and she barrels out the door. Has the whole world gone gay?
Yep. So funny.
Like, I have loved her so much before that, but ever since then, like
She just stole the show in my eyes. Like everybody else was really good, but she stood out, and it felt like she was channeling her inner Debbie, like in certain moments, and only for certain moments. She didn't do that entire character the whole movie. She actually
Right.
was a very good, well-grounded person who just she liked the way things were. She did not like change. And that was a big thing with a lot of the adults is they liked the way things were and didn't want to change. But here comes Jesper rolling in like a gangster and was like, nope, we ain't doing that.
Like a postman.
God, I dug that song. I never heard that before. I don't even know what the full song is.
I don't know, but I bet you Kevin Costner's got it on his fucking car stereo all the time.
Or Kurt Russell.
Like a postman.
Almost reminds me of that song from Office Space. Shit, it feels good to be a gangster.
Is that where they're busting the... Oh, no. That's Michael Bolton singing that one. That's right. That's right.
Michael Bolton. What kind of stupid name is that? That talentless hack. Oh, you don't remember that?
I do. I'm just trying not to think of that because I've already got Debbie stuck in my head. Like
Miss Debbie. God, I made a clip. I don't know where it is.
We both have to work in the morning. Stop talking about better movies.
This is a better movie.
It's not that this isn't a better movie. We're just talking about classics these wonderful actors have been in.
Well, and they joined another classic as far as I'm concerned. So I'd rank this pretty damn decently. Now, was there anything else you would feature in the good, Kevin?
No, I don't think so. I'll just save it for final judgment.
Right on. I like the emotional and the story to it. So, but like you, I'll save it for the end. Now, Kevin, we got to do it. Let's talk about the bad.
The bad. I got to bring her up because we already talked about it. I
should make a little music clip for when we go to the bad part of movies.
Dun, 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 bum, bum.
Dun, 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 dun.
I love the character designs of the bad guys. I really do. Like the movie's only as good as their bad guy, and these bad guys were very entertaining. There's nothing too devious about them, too horrible, too awful. Like you said, they don't like things to change. They just want to continue fighting and bickering and disliking each other because that's the way things are. Yeah. And they enjoy their life the way it is. It was better then.
They do not change.
They don't understand those crazy kids playing.
No, they don't.
And I forgot my other bad. I'd made up some weird point to counterpoint what you were saying before, but I forgot what it was. So for the bad in this,
it was the mystical. It's talking about the magic and the fantasy.
So it's all based on lies, but again, I still lost my train of thought. 0 point. I 0 pointed. That's actually the first
another point for Jeff.
Big 0 point that I've had in a good long time. God damn.
No, but
sorry.
What we were talking about earlier for bad, as far as I would be concerned, is for as well as it did in 2019, there's still a lot of people. You mentioned this movie to them, and they're like, "The hell are you talking about, huh?" And it's because Netflix is terrible at marketing. And yes, while it got 40 million views like back then, I don't know how well it does now. Part of the joy of doing this as a review is trying to show some attention to it that it wouldn't otherwise normally get. Like any of us movie review people out there, we're the ones who can keep this sort of like movie alive. There's no physical media on this. My copy is what would be considered a bootleg. We have a buddy from earlier who let's see, John, gonna bring it up.
Sorry.
This is an amazing film. I have a Blu-ray for it that was used as a press screener initially. Press screeners are can be hard to come by, but tells me not to share the contents, which I guess the eBay seller didn't follow. LOL.
Douche.
Well, you're not supposed to sell press screeners, but in my own personal VHS and DVD collection, I have about like 30 of them. And and that's just from the years. And I enjoy having them because there are no commercials. You got no logo over images or anything like that.
I got Invader Zim, like the entire series on one disc from a girl who got it from somebody at Nickelodeon. I enjoyed getting that.
That's cool.
Several times.
I bet. And maybe next year we can talk about Invader Zim a little bit more as well.
Ooh, we'll have to call Frank.
Yep. Damn straight. Yeah. But no, I hate the fact that a lot of people don't know about this movie, largely because it's stuck on Netflix and it's in the deep well of Christmas movies that you don't even know about. And I put that all on Netflix. They never market this. They wouldn't even put this back into like any sort of like top 10 Christmas movies on Netflix. They don't really have a category for that. You just have to keep scrolling or look for it specifically.
Yeah, holiday.
And they should put a real Blu-ray or a 4K out there. Like at this point, after X number of years, how many more views are you really going to get on this? At this point, put it out there. DVD, Blu-ray, you don't even have to do a 4K. Sorry, 4K fans. I know what you're going to be screaming about, but put it out there on fucking physical media. That way people can go out, find it, buy it.
Yes, because that is to me, the only real bad of this movie. There's no bad of this flick other than having to explain death to kids. But or having to deal with that as yourself as a fucking 44-year-old man.
Stop being weak.
Anyway, that sucked. It's cold out here and that really hurt. So the fact that it's nowhere to be found is truly a sin. I don't like that for movies in general. And if Netflix wants their movies to be legitimate, like to be viewed as legitimate cinema, they need to be part of the cinema experience. Like physical media is part of that cinema experience. And I know physical media is still relatively new to cinema, but it's been
Netflix.
It's been around longer than Netflix has been around. So I know. Come on, man.
Well, this is how Netflix freaking even started. Like they started with renting discs out.
For reals. And Daredevil season 1 was out on disc.
I think through season 2 officially. Then season 3, I don't know about though.
Oh, they did do the set. Okay.
Yeah, I remember the first couple seasons, but like my Punisher's discs, those are not official like at all.
No, and I highly recommend getting those.
Terrible, but that's how it goes. I mean, if the shows are going to be on Disney now, like that's now Disney owned rights. So
yes,
but Netflix does own the rights to this one in particular, so they have exclusive handling. They could do it. They also have like several other shows and movies on their platform that I love that nobody has seen, and they don't want to sign up to Netflix. They want to just buy the show or find another way to watch it if they can. And they're going to have to find another way to watch it. Then Netflix doesn't even get those viewing numbers. They don't get a subscriber. Sometimes you got to throw out some gimmies here.
Should I show the wall for a second? Because I just want to prove a point to Netflix.
Go for it.
I'm going to show the wall for a second. That's just part of my DVD collection. Just part of it. I've got over 5,000 discs. I could watch whatever the fuck I want, whenever the fuck I want to watch it. But the point is this. I still have Netflix. It's not because I'm lazy and I don't want to get up and go fucking look for something. It's because I like being able to stream my media. I like the freedom of Netflix. I like being able to go in the other room if my kids are watching something and watch my tablet, watch my phone if I'm at the airport or the bus station or whatever. We're still going to subscribe to you, Netflix, but I'm going to grow this wall. This wall's going to keep growing.
Right. It's the whole promise of curating a collection. We don't just have this just for fucking shits and giggles. We do this because This is the cream of the crop in our eyes. We don't just buy these things just to fill a shelf. If that was the case, our wives would have killed us years ago. All of these on this, all of these that I got on a completely different wall. What you see behind me on my 2 spinner racks here, that's a fraction of what I got. I have as many DVDs as you have. I also have even more Blu-rays, and I have some 4Ks, VHS. I got some Laserdisc. I'm
You've
a
got a
freaking
lot more
nut
of
for
those
this
than I do.
stuff. Yeah. So it's like, just offer it as an option. You don't even have to do like the big print run. Like a lot of these companies like to keep their runs to like say 3,000 to 5,000 units. I shop from a place called Vinegar Syndrome. A lot of those are now around 6,000 units. So once they're gone, they're gone. But you have an opportunity to at least purchase it. If Netflix doesn't want to put this shit out, talk to some of these boutique labels and allow them to do small runs. You can say 3,000 units is all you get. This is the price. We get final approval on whether it's going to be released or not, but you get to put it out. We get a cut. You get a cut. Everybody gets paid. It's another revenue stream, but Netflix feels like they are too big to fail, and the mighty will fall one day, but it won't be anytime soon. But I would love to see that actually be an option for people to, you know what, you can go find it, at least maybe on eBay or whatever, if it was out on Blu-ray or DVD. But shit, you're Netflix. You put this movie on DVD. I know, DVD, whatever. It's still the highest numbered thing you could find out there. It still sells more than Blu-ray and 4K. DVD by itself beats Blu-ray and 4K all the time to this day. You put that on like fucking DVD, you put it in Walmart, you charge $15. Guarantee you will make your money back on that. I mean, you'll have to make a lot more discs, but you get in a fucking Walmart, you can actually sell this to people and be like, hey, we just made more new fans.
This would fucking sell out quick as a Black Friday deal. Like this would just get destroyed on a Black Friday. Christmas shoppers would love this shit.
Oh yeah. You put this next to like say Arthur Christmas and like the Santa Claus movies, like it would work.
Yeah.
And I like Arthur Christmas too. Ernest Saves Christmas. The Muppets Christmas Carol. Just saying.
Which I don't think they're putting back out on DVD this season or Blu-ray because they fixed it. They put the deleted scene back into the movie and put it on Disney Plus.
Yeah, I was thinking about buying that Australian Blu-ray set for all the Muppet movies, and I hesitated too long. Now I can't order it.
That was a thing? Fuck.
Yep.
Fuck.
Well, I would have told you if I could have ordered it, I was going to tell you about it, but I couldn't. So, but it was like $40 for all of them. I know.
I'll rob a bank. I don't care.
Yeah. Well, the only thing I won't rob is the other thing I would maybe nick on this movie a little bit is it can feel like they're playing on the tropes of Santa and whatnot just a little bit too much, but it doesn't feel old hand. It doesn't feel out of place. It feels fresh. It's a new take. I accept it, but I can see how some people might feel like, this feels like a trope. Yeah, well, they're taking it from movies that didn't really use them the best, and they actually made it work in this movie.
Yeah, or movies that it's worked several times over, so many times over, that you're tired of seeing it. Okay, so here's a different spin on it.
Exactly.
And that again wasn't unenjoyable. I didn't dislike that. The part where he laughs for the first time, which is well an hour into the film, and Jesper's like, "Oh my god, that's how you laugh? Good lord, no wonder you hide it." Like, it's fucked up.
They got a good relationship between the two. I like their sparring once he starts talking and opening up to Jesper.
Once Jesper starts getting a little bit of balls and fighting back,
it's like a good cop, bad cop routine. It's like, I'll get you back.
I'm still going to be here to complain about it. God damn it.
No, yeah. All right, Kevin. That's it. The Judgment.
The Judgment. Ah, goodness.
That's a good picture.
I was surprised by this. Thank you. It was hard to find pictures of this movie. Yeah. It really was. And I suppose I should have saved that for the bad, but it like I said with The Tick, it's very hard to get pictures of Prime originals, Netflix originals, not so much
accessibility
Hulu, but yeah, I suppose
of assets.
Yeah, it's really hard to get good pictures of it. And then this wasn't one of those types of movies where you're like, oh, this scene was fucking huge. Remember this part? But there are cute moments like this where he doesn't expect to have as many letters coming through to him as he does. And it's like this weird, amazing miracle. Christmas miracles happening before Christmas is even a thing. Like, it's really cute. So I was glad to have been able to get this picture because, again, Netflix doesn't make it easy to get good stills of it. There's no promo for it at all.
Right. And unless you were lucky enough to get an early screener like John, or you or me last year where I finally had enough and I went and bought this because it also has Kurt Russell's The Christmas Chronicles on it. Both of them.
Oh, cool.
And the second one has Goldie in it. She plays Mrs. Klaus. So.
Yeah, and she's alive.
Still kicking somehow.
She's got legs and knows how to use them.
That's true. That's very true. Okay. Now, Kevin, what would you score this?
You know what? I'd give this a good 8 or 9. This was a good movie. I didn't expect to enjoy it as much as I did. I would say it's every bit as good or worth your while as making this a Christmas tradition as the Rankin Bass movies were. It's beautiful in a different way. It's fun to watch in a different way. Like I said, it's just a very vibrant animation, but it's a cute story. It's a fun story that pretty much everyone can relate to. Almost everyone can watch this and relate to some part of it or find some character that they really enjoy with it, connect with that character. It's fun. I liked it. I wanted to watch it again the next day with my wife and kids. I didn't because I didn't want to cry, but you know.
Yeah, don't cry, Kevin. Be strong. Slap yourself.
Be strong.
Don't be weak. No, I really enjoy this movie, and I'm really glad you enjoyed it too. I would probably give this about a 8.5 to 9. I don't really have any real issues with the movie other than the lack of awareness of the movie and overall how Netflix has treated the movie. They should highlight this a lot more. They should actually market it around this time of year.
Man.
I don't really have any real issues with the movie. I could be nitpicky and just be like, there's a few too many tropes, but I like them all. I don't have a problem with it. Animation's strong. I love the character development, love the story overall. I think it works very well. I think they stuck the landing with it. It was sad to say goodbye to Klaus, but it was implied that he was still there. I do think, if anything, I take a point off because you don't get to see Klaus one last time, even remotely sit down with Jesper to prove the point that he is still out there. It's kind of like the whole Shazam thing where Superman shows up at lunch and you never notice whether it's Henry Cavill or not. It's just a dude standing there with the outfit on.
Supposedly it is.
But supposedly it is. But I really enjoy this. I think everybody should give it a shot. I think everybody would like it. And I know Kevin answered the question. I didn't. I'll take this opportunity and say the moment that got me choked up the most is always when Margot is learning to write and she's working with Jesper and Alva. And then it transitions into the item she wants for Christmas, which is like this sailing sled. And they make it and they deliver it to her. And with the music the beautiful animation and the way the story unfolds in that particular moment, it'll tug at your heartstrings, everybody. I'm just trying to warn you. It's one of those kind of movies of, you would think for an animated movie like this, it just kind of stay in its lane and not get so emotional, but it'll touch you in at least one way or another. There's something in this for everybody, like I've mentioned.
Yeah, that scene was pretty cute. I like where Klaus tells him, I remember the first time I got that smile on my face.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, like, I ain't got no smile on my face. Like, I'm not happy. I'm not satisfied. Whatever.
Well, I like Norm's character when he's like, oh, I remember that love at first sight. Yeah. The cold sweat, the everything like that. It was so funny. I loved Norm's character just constantly giving shit to everybody, but also realizing, hey, wait a minute, you're actually doing something around here. Oh, damn. All right. It's cool.
Cool. I'll be quiet now. All right.
Yeah, I'll let you do your thing.
Yeah, which was very unnorm, which was cool. I know. That character.
Yeah, it was a good role for Norm Macdonald, I thought. So when I realized it was him, I was like, that was fucking Norm. It doesn't even sound like him. He sounds way too normal to put it away.
Normal.
I know, but it doesn't sound like his usual energetic, dry self. He sounds like he's a little more like relaxed and having a fun time with a good script.
Yes. Yeah.
I could say that for all the actors in this.
That's true. None of it, all of the ADR is wonderful. Like none of it sounds phoned in at all.
No, everybody that probably also adds to the weight of the movie itself. Beyond the story, beyond the characters, they all bought into it. They all were passionate about it. It also, I would say that also relies on the director and the gentleman who made this even possible, Mr. Sergio Pablos, if I'm saying your name right. Or Sergio.
Don't get me in trouble.
Too late.
Serge.
Wow.
Serge.
Any final thoughts before we say goodbye to everybody, Kevin?
No, I got to go back to Silent Night, Deadly Night now. I like this. This was a real fun romp through Christmas, but now I got to go back to being Kev.
Oh, darn. Poor Kevin.
Don't
have any regrets, Kevin. Don't have regret.
Oh, well, best leave it alone. I say, I'm sure it's nothing that could fester and eventually become a source of resentment and regret.
Fester. Like Debbie and Fester.
My Debbie clip. Anyway, fantastic cast. Want to say thank you to everybody for tuning in, watching us review Klaus, 2019's Netflix movie. I want to say thank you. Make sure you hit the like button on the way out, and also got any thoughts or feelings about this movie? Hey, put them down below in the comment section. We would love to check them out. And also hit that subscribe button and make sure you hit the little bell notification so you can stay tuned to all of our video content. And we will see you all on the next one.